I asked AI, why do humans go to war? Things got deep and revealing about our human condition. Plus, we got into some profound solutions.
War is a devastating force that has caused untold suffering throughout human history. It's estimated that over 1 billion people have died in war since the dawn of civilization. Current events with Israel and Palestine, Russia and Ukraine, are stark reminders of the consequences of war. In Israel and Palestine, thousands of people have been killed and millions displaced from their homes. The conflict has had a destructive impact on the economies of both countries. In Russia and Ukraine, the war has caused a humanitarian crisis. Millions of people have been displaced from their homes and thousands killed. The war has also had a significant impact on the global economy, causing energy prices to rise and disrupting supply chains.
Yet despite the horrific cost, humans continue to go to war. So I asked AI, why do humans go to war?
Humans go to war for a variety of reasons. Competition for resources. Humans have a long history of fighting over resources such as land, water, and minerals. This is especially true in areas where resources are scarce. Governments may go to war over political disputes such as territorial claims or ideological differences. Wars can also be fought over ethnic or religious differences. These conflicts are often rooted in centuries of hatred and mistrust. Wars can also be fought out of revenge for previous attacks or injustices. Some leaders may be aggressive and expansionist, and go to war to expand their territory or power. In Israel and Palestine, a number of factors have contributed to the ongoing violence. Both Israelis and Palestinians claim Jerusalem as their capital, and there is no consensus on the borders of a future Palestinian state. The conflict is also rooted in religious differences between Jews and Muslims. Both sides have a long history of suffering and grievances, which makes it difficult to find common ground. In the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the primary reason for the war is Russia's desire to prevent Ukraine from joining NATO. Russia sees NATO as a threat to its security, and it's willing to use military force to prevent Ukraine from joining the alliance. Putin desires to restore Russia's former glory as a great power. Putin believes that Ukraine should be part of Russia.
I wanted to delve deeper into the specific issue, why do humans get into ethnic and religious conflicts?
Ethnic and religious groups may be divided over distribution of power or the rights of minorities. This can lead to conflict, as each group tries to assert their own interests. They often have a long history of grievances against each other, passed down from generation to generation. This makes it difficult to build trust and cooperation. Ethnic and religious identity can be a powerful force. When people feel their identity is threatened, they're more likely to resort to violence. Extremist groups often use ethnic and religious identity to recruit members and justify their violence. These groups can play a significant role in escalating conflicts. Ethnic and religious conflicts can lead to mass violence, displacement, and the destruction of communities. They can also create a climate of fear and mistrust, which can make it difficult to build a peaceful and just society.
Things got more interesting when I asked, why do humans go to war based on identity politics?
Identity can be a powerful tool for mobilization. People are more likely to come together and fight for a cause if they feel that their identity is threatened. This is why identity politics is often used by demagogues and other leaders who want to exploit people's fears and insecurities. Identity can be used to justify violence and discrimination. When people believe that their identity is superior to others, they may feel entitled to use violence to maintain the dominance. This is why identity politics has been used to justify atrocities such as genocide and slavery. Identity can be used to divide and conquer. When people are divided along ethnic, religious, or other identity lines, it is easier for leaders to control and manipulate them into supporting their agendas. This is why identity politics is often used by authoritarian regimes.
When people feel their identity is threatened, they're more likely to resort to violence. So I had to ask, why would people feel their identity is threatened?
People feel that their identity is threatened when they perceive something is challenging their core beliefs, values, or sense of self. When people are stereotyped or discriminated against because of their ethnicity, race, religion, gender, or sexual orientation, it can make them feel like their identity is not valued or respected. When society is changing rapidly, it can be difficult for people to keep up. This can lead to feelings of uncertainty and anxiety, which can make people feel more vulnerable to threats to their identity. When people are struggling financially, it can make them feel like their identity is being threatened. This is because social status and economic well-being are often closely linked to identity. Political conflict can also threaten people's sense of identity. This is because political beliefs are often closely tied to core values and beliefs. These experiences can challenge people's beliefs about themselves and the world around them.
Political leaders and extremist groups use ethnic and religious identity as justification for aggression and war, which creates a vicious cycle of attack and retaliation. If we are creating wars based on different identities, I started searching for solutions by asking, what do wisdom teachings say about identity?
Wisdom teachings from all over the world have a lot to say about identity. Here are some of the key insights. Identity is not fixed. Our identity is constantly changing and evolving. It is shaped by our experiences, our relationships, and our culture. Identity is not separate from others. It is connected with those around us. We are shaped by our relationships with our family, friends, and community. Identity is not about labels or categories. We are more than just our ethnicity, race, religion, gender, or sexual orientation. Our true identity is beyond the mind and body. Our true identity is our essence, our soul. It is that which is eternal and unchanging. Buddhism teaches that the separate self is an illusion. We are not separate from the rest of the universe. Buddhism says our identity is constantly changing and impermanent. Hinduism teaches that the true self is the Atman, the divine ground of all being. Christianity teaches that we are all created in the image of God. This means that we have inherent dignity and worth. We are also called to love our neighbor as ourselves. Islam teaches that we are all one human family, regardless of our race, religion, or ethnicity. Islam says, we are all created by God, and we are all accountable to Him. Wisdom teachings can help us to see our identity in a new light. They can help us to realize that we are more than just our physical bodies and our social roles. They can also help us to connect with our deeper selves and interconnectedness with all of creation.
Wisdom teachings paint quite a different picture of identity than political leaders. So I ask, how can we overcome identity politics?
Be mindful of the ways in which your own identity is shaped by your experiences and relationships. Recognize that other people's identities are also shaped by their experiences and relationships. Be respectful of other people's identities, even if you disagree with them. Work to build bridges and understanding between different identity groups. Challenge the ways in which identity politics is used to divide people and justify violence.
Continuing for solutions, I ask more directly, what would it take for humans to not go to war all the time?
It would take a number of things for humans to not go to war all the time. Here are some of the most important things. A shift in human consciousness. We need to move away from a culture of violence and aggression towards a culture of peace and cooperation. This will require a fundamental change in the way we think about ourselves and the world around us. A commitment to resolving conflicts peacefully. This includes diplomacy, mediation, and arbitration. We also need to build a strong culture of non-violence. We need to create a world where everyone has the opportunity to live a decent life. This means addressing the root causes of poverty, inequality, and injustice. When people feel that they have something to lose, they are more likely to resort to violence. We need a strong international system that can uphold laws to promote peace and security. This includes the United Nations and other international organizations. We need to educate people about the dangers of war and the importance of peace. We also need to raise awareness of the root causes of conflict and how they can be addressed peacefully. It will require a concerted effort from individuals, governments, and international organizations. However, it is essential that we work towards a world where war is no longer an option. Here are some specific things you can do to help create a more peaceful world. Educate yourself about the root causes of conflict and how they can be addressed peacefully. Promote peace and non-violence in your community. Support organizations that are working to build a more just and equitable world. Hold your government accountable for its policies towards war and peace. Together, we can create a world where war is no longer an option.
What do you think about these responses? Please leave your comments to continue the discussion. like and subscribe to see more videos like this. To dive deeper into how to break free from social conditioning and reclaim your own inner wisdom and power, watch these videos next on the pop-up screen.